So about 3 years ago, my husband is waiting outside the church when I get out of church, and he says, I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. I've been unhappy for 25 years, which kind of includes our honeymoon. So, I knew we were in a loveless marriage. Okay, it's been like 17 years since Josh was born that I hadn't been in love with him. But we had a family, and we shared a life. And when this happened, I cried all day long, but after I stopped crying, I woke up. And I was like so full of life. And people saw me like at the filmmakers mixers, and they were like, you look so healthy. And because like suddenly I just like weight that I didn't even know that I had on my shoulders, off my shoulders. And I was horny all the time. And I decided that I wanted to find love. Like she said, she gave away my punchline. But anyway, so I went on the dating sites, and the first one, of course, I have no money because my husband left me, and he got a really good dating site and got a really nice woman. But I was left with OkCupid and Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish, and I was like Plenty of Buck. So I guess I could start with Plenty of Fish, but basically, like, there's no guys for me on Plenty of Fish, okay? I had a rule that I would not contact any guys that were holding a fish or standing in front of their car or like at a sports event, because I'm an artist, okay? Oh, or anyone that's a like workaholic, which pretty much left me with homeless guys and the unemployed. So anyway, I did break, one of my rules was I'm not an animal person. So I did break my rule, and I started chatting with an animal person. And I should have known that it wasn't going to work out. He's like, I hear in the background, and he never brought me to his house because he was hiding 8 poodles. So, but he broke my heart. I fell in love. I wanted to be in love, and I fell in love, and I got my heart just crushed. Anyway, so my friend said, you should not be out there dating right now. If you date right now, before you are healed, you will attract broken men. So I did my best to prove her thesis. So a couple of the first guys, 2 of the guys that I actually fell in love with had wives that left them for other women. I had one guy who literally was broken, every bone in his body in a car wreck, and he was just recovering from that. I'm jumping the gun here, but he had this kiss, okay, and he would just like plop his tongue in your mouth like, and I'm like, okay, he was married. Did like this woman like the tongue that, did she live like 5 years in her mouth? And I dated 2 guys with the tongues that we plopped in their mouth, and nobody ever told them. But one of the things that I really enjoyed about being online was the attention that I got, because being in a loveless marriage for all those years, he wasn't really talking to me anymore. So even on Facebook, I was addicted to Facebook. I was addicted to the likes. So I came up with all these really witty little things that I put on everybody's page, and I just got thrilled. Oh, I got 12 likes today. It was attention. And also on Facebook that I found, lots of guy friends. And so I am so clueless about men after like being married that long that I just like, I'm back in the dating world at like 50, and I need like an army of men to like teach me what to do with men today, you know? And so like that I have, you know, a couple friends here that are giving me advice, and when we talked about this the other night at the rehearsal, they were curious, why do the guys want to hear my stories? And then some of the guys just like thought it was funny. So let's hear the next week's saga of Jana and her broken men, you know. And then there was the guys that wanted to save me, and then there were the guys that were waiting in line for their turn. So one of the times I went on this date, I'd broken up with a boyfriend, and I was kind of vulnerable, but I'm like, I'm going to a filmmaking event, so there's lots of people that, you know, that I feel very comfortable with, and a lot of my guy friends that I told a lot of my problems to, so I'm like, I'm safe, and I just got my hair done. So I went to this thing, and I'm just having this great time because, you know, I'm hanging out with my married friend, and I'm just like laughing, and just so, I feel so safe. And so I tell him, you know, I just feel so comfortable. I'm so glad that you're here for me. And so he puts his arm on my shoulders, and he gives me a comforting squeeze, and he whispers in my ears, baby, when we finally get it on, it's going to be explosive. So, you want to hear more about that day? It was a really great day. So I had other friends there too. So I'm trying to escape this guy who's trying to back me into a corner to put his tongue down my throat. Married to, like sometimes the guys kind of root for this guy, but he's married, okay? So I go with my other friend that I used to also confide in, and I'm like, just get me out of here, take me home. And so I'm telling him about, you know, my breakup with my boyfriend, which I do all the time over the phone. So in about a split second, he's got my bra off. And so I'm like, what's with this? I just don't get it. It's like, you have this great wife, and why would you risk that for you know, making a pass at me? And he said he wanted some strange. But these are my friends. So anyway, I finally got tired of like the whole dating thing. It ended up I had so many, like, when I went on Plenty of Fish, you can see a little green dot that says who's online, and you can see all my exes were like the next day after we broke up fishing for new women, and it just got to be too painful. It was all my exes and con men, and so I finally decided, I got off of both of my dating sites, and I realized that I was settling for somebody who's like, none of these guys had anything in common with me, so I was settling for somebody who was like a good kisser, or somebody like who liked movies, and it just wasn't enough. And I went to that movie, Mandela. This is going to sound really corny, and it is. But anyway, I was inspired by that, and I'm like, I want a man like that. It's like, I want a man who's trying to do something good in the world. And I had given that part of myself up when my husband left, and just like looking for a man, and I need a man who's like me, a man who wants to do something good in the world. And as soon as I like resolved to find a man like that, the next day I found him. I actually found him on Facebook. I looked up in the subject area, that part, what do you call that thing, where you look for people's names. Anyway, I just looked up single men Tucson, and do you know that if you put single, you're on that list? So be careful. But anyway, I found Dan there, and unsuspecting Dan. And I was like, so I saw that we had a mutual friend, and I saw that he worked at CoLab, where we have our filmmaking meetings. things. So I had a couple things to talk about. He said in his religious views he had pastafarian, and my son was like all into pastafarian at one time, was even going to do a movie on it. So something to talk about. So I sent him a friend request. One day, so he accepts the friend request, which I'm kind of surprised about. Anyway, and one day he's on there, sees a little green dot, and I'm like, hi, and he's like, hi, and pastafarian. You know, that's all I had to say. But anyway, I said, you want to know a secret? He said, sure. I just friended you because I thought you were cute. And he's like blushing, and then he got off really fast. But the real reason I friended him was because he actually does robotics, you know, he mentors teams in robotics. And he's like, he does all this volunteer work, and he's an amazing guy. And he's my soulmate. And everybody says that you should, when you stop looking for love, that it will find you. I'm here to tell you that I was looking for love, and I found it on Facebook.